What's good, everybody? This is another interview for Qualified. Again, this week I have a very, very special guest. This is my big brother, like my literal family. You know what I'm saying? Like blood, for real. Like we actually relate, if y'all can't tell. But no, this is definitely a big inspiration, a role model to me. This is somebody when I think about Qualified and as I started formulating that idea and what it meant to me, a lot of that and a lot of the thoughts I've always had when it comes to, doing the best I can and, never accepting like no answer come from this man right here. So I'll let him introduce, himself, just who he is and what he's doing now, and then we'll get into the interview. So go ahead, big bro.
Okay, for sure. So, my name is Randee Drew. I'm my title is big cuz, big slash brother. I'm his cousin brother to Steve, little Steve. He's definitely been a little brother. Like I got brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? I'm the youngest. I even got a twin brother. I'm the youngest of us. But Steven has always been definitely like a little brother to me, man. I've always admired his just, I'll be calling him Swaggy P because every time I see him, he look, he got his hair cut shade one day, he bald one day, he got dreads one day. He stay fly, you know what I'm saying? So I've always admired like your commitment to like being you. Like if I could sum it up, it's really your commitment to being you. Like you never settle, you never ever take anything for granted. And I remember conversations we used to have back in the day when you was just hooping or going to school or trying to figure out what college you was going to. And a lot of those times I cherish those because like I said, a lot of stuff I was telling you was stuff that I wish people would have helped me with. And you honestly like my little brother. So it's like I wanted to make sure that everything I was telling you was something that I would do and something that I know that you could do and persevere through. So it's a blessing to see how far you've come, man. Your platform right here is dope. The Qualified brand is dope. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, let's get into whatever you need. Let's get into it.
For sure. Well, yeah, we'll start you were inspiration in so many ways. Growing up, of course, I hoop, but you did everything growing up. Your job, you and Randee played every single sport imaginable. So just talk about the resources y'all had, and, like what made y'all want to play so many sports, or just like try out what sports, and how did you end up finding your true love in football?
Right, man. So I've always been an active kid, always been athletic, and like you said, it helps. I got a twin brother, so everything we did, we was competing. Everything we did, we was going at it, and we pushed and drove each other. A big thing that helped me with sports, and a big thing that helped me with trying new stuff, is growing up at the Boys and Girls Club. And that's one thing. Like nowadays, that youth now, and what you like, 22, Steve?
Man, I'm 24.
You 24? Oh, damn. I'm getting old. But you can start even saying this now. Like, youth nowadays don't have the same, I won't even say resources, but they don't even have the same opportunities that we had growing up. Like, when growing up, like living on 39th and Burleigh, the Boys and Girls Club was literally 4.5, 5 blocks away, depending on which way I went. Right. So I'm every day. I get up. I'm at the club from 9 till they kick us out every single day. So when you at the Boys and Girls Club, you create that competitive edge. You dibble and dabble in new things. You're not scared to step out there because everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that so many people are not exposed to things. And these kids are so bubbled, and technology has forced them to be in a shell. They don't have to go outside. So that's one thing I will say. Being in the Boys and Girls Club and just growing up in the environment and the era that we did, it was sports. It was playing outside. It was getting on your bike and literally riding like 30 miles there and back somewhere. You come back to the crib at night and, fighting cats on the block and racing people in the middle of the street with your socks and shit and playing kill the man with the ball. Like all those things was just shit did. Like it was everyday thing, playing ding dong ditch and making the dog down the street chase you and shit to see who was fastest. Like those is crazy things that we did that we all stayed active doing. So the Boys and Girls Club, like I said, I'm a true SPC for life. Like Sherman Park, yeah. I was there. Shack, I was there when that motherfucker was just a shack in a room. And then, 4 or 5 years later, they kicked us out for a year. We had to go to Townsend. We had to go to Townsend Elementary for a year while they was building a new club. Then we went back to the Boys and Girls Club. So it was like, I seen it all, man. And that's, in my opinion, where my true love for like an appreciation for sports, different sports, and trying different things kind of came from, to answer your question.
But so you playing on these sports and you get in the middle of high school and you still play multiple sports in high school. But talk about when you found out like football was the sport that you knew was for you. You knew that's where your love was.
Man, I chose I'm kind of going to talk out of both sides of my mouth because I played 4 sports in high school, which I felt like kind of burnt me out a little bit. But like I said, that was like even now, like I'm still going because I'm talking on some old head shit. But like now, you can't get kids to do nothing. Like if you're a hooper, that's all kids are doing. Like, coach, right. I don't do hoop. I hoop AAU. I hoop for the school. I'm hooping. So it's like back then, it was like that was even. So we had cats who really could give a shit about basketball, but it's like, damn, my nigga hooping, so fuck it, I'm gonna be on the basketball team. Like they might not even play, but they good enough to make the team. And so that's how it kind of was. But I made my decision, man, going into my senior year. I had started getting a lot of love, like junior year, senior year in football, and I always had a dream since I was a freshman, like I wanted to play in the NFL. But I had always hooped. I never thought I was gonna go to college and hooping on that shit. I ran track, and I was a state champion track in the hurdles, and we won state in the 4x1, but I didn't want to go to school and run track, and I never looked at myself as no fast ass like track run. I was fast, but not like that. So it really came down between football and soccer. Mm-hmm. And, my senior year, going into my senior year, I just made a decision, like I want to play football. I'm going to have to go balls out, and I'm not going to be able to give my energy to soccer like that because I'm going to focus on track in the spring. And that's where I say I was kind of like, grinding the gears a little too much because it's cool to do sports and you never really see 4 sport athletes anymore. You probably, the more and more we get advanced, your kids, even my kids, 1 or 2 sports going to be max. And I see that because, you know what I'm saying? Like I was good because I was an athlete, but I really can't say like I specialized in something. Like football was the thing that I was really, really good at, and I really stood out. Soccer, I really stood out. Basketball, I was just a nigga from 39th that could hoop. You know what I'm saying? I could hoop, like and shit. I could make any damn team in the state. That wasn't a never issue if I could have made it play, but it wasn't my passion. Like it wasn't my thing. So in track, like I said, I was one of the fastest dudes in the state. I was one of the top sprinters in the state, but once again, I just didn't see that. So, it came down to that because a lot of these kids now, it's like that's the sport they do year round. So you get a whole year to get 100,000 shots a day and dribble the ball. Shit, only time I touched the basketball in high school was during basketball season. Shit, right. The only time I touched the football during football season. Yeah. I only played soccer in the goddamn spring. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm doing all these sports and I'm doing all these things, but I only did it when it was that sport. So I made a decision my junior year because I remember I went to a football camp, and that's when I kind of started getting like recruited a little more. And I was like, this is something that I really, really want to do. So I guess just looking at what my love was and looking at how everything was laying out for me, football had my heart, and it was something that everything I did, even when I wasn't playing football, was still like intangible things that paid dividends in my football. It's like when I'm playing soccer, I'm still working on my foot speed and my hips and shit. When I'm running track, I'm working on my pure speed. Basketball, I'm working on my agility. All 3 of those things that I'm working on these different sports at different times, they all culminate, and I can use that in football no matter what. That's basically how it makes me. Yeah, they making kids make business decisions at a young age. It's not even for the love of it. Hold 1 second, cuz 1 second.
Sure. Exactly. And so, I mean, like you mentioned, so you were going to NIU, Northern University. So talk about your journey there. Talk about, like you said, like just the difference in getting there, realizing like this ain't. I was talking to Donovan, in the last episode. He said the same thing about the player. He got gray shirted. He was like, it ain't like I thought it was gonna be. Whether it's sweet or whether I thought it was gonna be like this, it ain't like that. And I got to work 10 times harder than I'm probably anticipating. So just speak on your college journey and everything that taught you, not only as an athlete, but as a man as well.
All right, for sure. First of all, you and Dominic, like y'all relationship, y'all two, man, like y'all just the example of like two great young men. And like I'm not surprised his success and your success. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's rare when you get that. And another thing I was gonna touch on before I talk about that is I'm glad you had him on here, and I'm glad you're doing this because we have to start celebrating the successes of the people that's really doing something.
Right.
And I don't want to hear about the kid that went to Duke, got kicked out and came back to the crib. Well, he was cold, but he back in the crib. Well, then he ain't cold then. Like,
Yeah.
let me hear about my man who went to Platteville, got gray shirted, balled out. Now he one of the coaches, and in 10 years from now, he probably gonna be coaching the Power 5. You know what I'm saying? So let's celebrate successes. But man, you know, when I went to NIU, little Steve, man, I had, you know, you was still kind of super.
I was young.
What I was going through, but like, but long story short, when I was in Nicolay before I left, man, I just knew for a fact I was gonna get a scholarship to Minnesota. I thought I was gonna go to Minnesota. Like they was on me. Like Coach came to Grand house. We in the basement of Grand house talking.
Came to Grand crib.
Yeah, dude, Minnesota. Like I got recruited by people. People came to see me at the school and stuff. But Minnesota, man, they came to see me at school. I don't know how many times. They came back during basketball season to see me hoop. They came to my basketball practices before. He came to the house to talk to grandma and all them about me. Like I just knew I was gonna be a Gopher. Shit fell through, man. I'll never forget when they called me and told me that they ain't had that scholarship for me, and you know they was trying to figure out what they could do and yada yada yada. I was devastated, man. And I remember Coach Canada. Coach Matt Canada, one of my favorite people on this earth, man. He coaching with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. He a good dude, but he came up to Nicolay and was like, "Look, man, we don't have no scholarships right now." He said, "But I seen you. I want you to walk on. I want you to be a preferred walk on." And at that time, once again, not having no guidance, you know what I'm saying? I love my pops to death, love my moms to death, all them, grand, papa, all the adults. But then nobody told me what I should have did. Nobody like told me do this, do that. And so what you thought? Yeah, for sure. Like, okay, somebody want me. So I'm like, okay. So I agreed to go to NIU. But the whole time in the back of my head, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm finna do. I'm about to run track again, and I'm just gonna kill it. I'm gonna get a track scholarship to either Madison or Minnesota. And then I'm just going to play football.
Yeah.
So that year, man, I killed it. I won state and track. I won the Midwest region, qualified for nationals. That summer, I was ranked 12th in the country. I had the 12th fastest time in the country that year. Ready. I'm rolling. I'm thinking I'm ready. Still wasn't nothing moving, man. You know what I'm saying? So by that time, Steve, like I said, ironically, it was time for me to go to NIU. Like, I was like, well, damn, I guess I got to go now. Like, that's how I literally, not that I had nothing against NIU, but I had a whole different plan.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I got to go to NIU. So go down there. I never forget. Grand, my mom and dad packed my shit up. They dropped me off and chucked me to deuces. So I never forget, man, like, that first couple days sitting there looking at everybody, because now I'm starting to meet cats, and like, one of my best friends is Parker Godfather, Denver, my boy D Money.
Yeah.
This is the first time I met a nigga with golds in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, he got golds in his mouth. Where you from? I'm from Florida. I'm like, oh shit, he probably cold, fast as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking in my head, like, and I once again, I've never been like this before, Steve. I've never been worried about nobody. Like, I've never been unsure of myself.
Right.
I'm just meeting all these niggas from everywhere. Illinois, Chicago, Michigan. My homeboy, his school won the state title 2 years in a row in Michigan. This motherfucker done rushed for like 85,000 yards in high school. I'm like, God damn. So I'm sitting there like, okay. I'm looking at everybody. And I'll never forget, I was questioning myself. So I'm like, I'm on some bullshit. I'm like, that ain't me. Like, I don't question myself. Like, let me get myself together. So that night, because we had a little orientation, then this was the old days doing college. Like, freshmen came a week and a half before the upperclassmen came, like the old school. So it was just us for like damn near a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I never forget, like, you know what? When we get on this field, I'm on their head. Like,
Right.
because I ain't had no scholarship. And I just said, I'm going to use it as fuel. Obviously, they think all y'all are better than me. So we going to see. And I literally had a hit list in my head. Every day, little cuz, I'm at next. Every day. Every day, like, I got dog, lock his ass up. Okay, I got lock his, going down the line. All the kids that was on scholarship, I'm on their ass. All the receivers on scholarship, I'm on their ass. Like, okay, cool. Making plays, doing all types of shit. So now I'm catching the eyes of all the coaches and stuff. So I'm like, okay, talking to me now more and want to know my name a little more and stuff like that. Because mind you, like, I never took a trip down there. I never took a visit. I just showed up as a preferred walk-on. Coach Camden knew who I was, so he like, okay, keep doing your thing. So that next week, when the upperclassmen came, I did the same thing, little cuz I made a hit. I figured out who the main dudes was. I was on their ass. And they was catching stuff on me, but we battling.
Right.
And they'd be like, okay. And I never forget, like, after like the first or second day, it was my boy's name was D Hill. They used to call him Daryl the Thrill Hill. He played in the league for a couple years. Man, he was super athletic, super good. He pulled me to the side. He said, man, you ain't on scholarship, little cuz? I said, nah, man, I'm trying to get there. He said, man, these motherfuckers tripping. I said, shook my head, like,
let them know.
Every day. And then, yeah. And then that little cuz, that turned into, when we going at it in practice, them cats, the older cats, asking me to stay after and get extra work in. Hey, little Drew, stay after practice, man. Let's get a couple routes in. Let's move. I'm getting money. I'm just staying after doing everything. So the second week of camp with the older kids, so it probably was like a week and a half left before school started. They pulled me in the office, called Grand on the phone, and was like, look, we're going to give your grandson a scholarship. So I got a scholarship before school even started because my D coach was like, at that time, and I never forget, we was playing Northwestern the first game of the year. And he was like, shit. He was like, I can't have one of my starting corners, you know what I'm saying? Damn, like my starting corner ain't on Scully. And I was like, okay. So I got my Scully, and I just never, ever lost that hunger, love. Cause like one of my proudest accomplishments, man, like it ain't even about the records. Like, and I did some shit like, look, like talking to you right now, making me think of stuff. Like I got a dumbass record down there for like being like, if I ain't the first ever player, some shit like that, to start a game in all three phases of the game my freshman. Like I started at receiver one game, DB, and kick return.
Damn.
And you know what I'm saying? Like they had packages for me. Like, so it got so crazy a little bit. Like I damn near thought I was the next Charles Woodson because I had packages of plays on offense that we would practice during the week, but we never ran them in the games though. Like They never ran them. But I had like 2 or 3 plays that they ran for me that was just for me, like a reverse, a bubble pass, and it was like some other shit. But I do know we played a team during the end of the year my freshman year where I started at receiver. Niggas was hurting shit. So I'm starting at receiver, starting at corner, and starting at kick return. But all that shit is all good. You know, I got a lot of records down there, man. But the thing that the most proud that thing I can say I did down there, man, I walked on that campus. I walked on that campus as a walk-on. I left that campus as a 4-year starter and a team captain.
Man,
that's one thing. Because when it come down to it, Steve, and I told you this before, can't nobody take away your work, bro. Like, can't nobody put into it. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you, you may not always be praised for your work. You may not always get the recognition you want. And me and you both have had bouts with that. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that before plenty of times, but they can't take away the work you put in. I was just fortunate enough that when I was there, I actually got praised for it and acknowledged for it. And I had coaches and teammates and brothers for life that helped me be in position to do great things. But, anybody, when I'm 60, you ask me the same thing. Like, man, I walked on as a nobody. and I left as a somebody. And
Literally.
that I mine, and I never looked back. Like, I never let that shit go. When I started as a freshman and I was doing all that shit, man, I never looked back. I never ever looked back. When I was a freshman, I was running hard as hell trying to win sprints. When I was a senior, still trying to win sprints, still doing this, still outworking cats, still trying to be a leader, because they can't take that shit from you, bro.
Right.
And that's what I tell these kids now. Like, everybody not gonna see what you do, but that's where that integrity and shit come in. Like, the shit you do and ain't nobody looking, that's what you get judged off of. Because the one time you don't do it, that's when somebody gonna catch your ass.
Exactly. But so you had this career, like you walk on, you become 4-year starter, team captain. This is the part where like I'm old enough to start kind of understanding what's going on. So how was the draft process? Like, I know you end up getting called by first one. I know the whole story, but I want you to explain it, just like that whole draft process work, and then what that looked like up until, of course, everything happened.
Right, man. So, at that time, so balling and stuff. And so my breakout year was my junior year. And, I led the team out, 7 picks, all this. I made an All-American team. I was first team all-conference, and I was third. I was third in the country in interceptions my junior year, and damn near could have been second or first. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I dropped a couple picks that I had my hands on, but that's when my shit really started. Like, it's some shit like you kind of dream about it, and you always say what you gonna do, and then once stuff's kind of start, coming in to fruition, it started being like, damn, this can really be like a reality. Like, I got a shot to really go to the league. So I just went into super grind mode, man. And really what helped me become a better player was not my athleticism. I'm not a big ass dude, but I mean, I've always been really athletic. I'm fast, I can play the game, whatever, but I became a student of the game, and I just started buckling down, man. And I never forget, I don't know if you remember this because you were still kind of young, but not super, super young. But going into my junior season, you remember my cousin Adrian that got killed? My Uncle Moses' son.
They was in Milwaukee, or they was somewhere else?
In Milwaukee.
I'm not sure if I remember. I probably was too young.
You probably see it, but he had got killed probably like a month before the season started, man. I never forget, like, just dedicating myself, like, I'm about to get on. And I never forget, I came home the day before camp started, and my coaches was like, you got to go home to your friend, you got, to your family, you do what you got to do, take as much time as you want. I'm like, nah, you'll see me tomorrow. Like, you'll see me tomorrow. Like, when the funeral done, I'm back. And I went, I was a pallbearer, buried my cousin, hopped right back on the slab, came right back to school, was ready for the first day of camp, locked in, man. So long story short, I had an amazing junior year. I had an amazing senior year, and things started lighting up, man. It was fun too, because there was a couple other cats on the team who was also getting looks. Obviously my homeboy Mike Turner played 10 plus years in the league, and he was getting a lot of notoriety. We was winning games. We was nationally ranked and stuff. And I mean, it was like the perfect storm, man. We, and everything was so exciting for me, having to choose an agent and, talking to cats. And, I chose the agent. Then I'm working out. And then we getting ready for our pro day. I'm getting ready for my pro day. I got teams calling me like, yo, Randee, I'm going to be in town. I want to work you out. We want to talk to you after your pro day. I played in the Blue-Gray game, and I played in the Las Vegas Bowl, so 2 Senior Bowl games. That was a fun experience because of those things. Now it's a whole bunch of dudes. You got cats from Florida State, Tennessee, like everywhere. Like, we all in one thing. We balling, so you meeting cats. And again, my excitement, like, I'm like a kid in candy store, like NFL scouts talking to you, like asking you stuff and looking at you, and you nervous as hell because we practice at fam on the field, look, cause we practicing and you can't even see the sideline because both sidelines are just filled with goddamn NFL scouts. So you don't want to mess up, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to do nothing wrong. You don't want to whatever, because the funny thing is each team already got a couple dudes that they just like anyway. So if the Packers there, you think the Packers they're watching, now they watching the DN on the other side. But you think, damn, he might be watching me, or the Baltimore Ravens here to watch. No, he watching that safety over there. So you be like, damn, like you doing all this stuff. And that whole process, man, was stressful. It was super stressful. But at the same time, man, those are things I'll be able to tell, like you, I'll be able to tell my son and them when they old enough, and the older two boys, if they even give a shit about it, you know what I'm saying? But like those things, because I never thought about it. And I remember, man, on draft day sitting in Grand house, man, and I was just watching the draft, and I watched it by myself. I didn't want to watch it with nobody. I didn't want to whatever. And I didn't get expected to get drafted the first day at all. So that wasn't no big deal. But the second day, I was like, okay, like if they call my name, man, I'm gonna lose my shit. So, you know, I'm sitting there and whatever. And true story, San Francisco called me 5th round, 6th round, something like that, and was like, you know, you on our board, and you know, we like you. We got some people up there, but you know, we just want you to know you on our board, and you know, yada yada yada. So I'm like, you know, yes sir, you know, thank you, whatever. And then it was like it must have been a couple picks left in the draft, and San Francisco called me back again and was like, you know, we got 1 or 2 picks left, man. But he was like, and I don't know which way we gonna go with them, but he was like, if we don't pick you, do you want to sign with us right after the draft? Well, shit, I ain't have 5 other teams call me and ask me. That's like, listen, bro, whatever you call back, shit, whether y'all draft me or not, we own one. So, like literally, like, they ain't call my name, and I ain't gonna lie, a little bit inside, I was kind of, you know, there because that's what you work for, right?
Right.
So I ain't get my name called, kind of whatever. Man, no, it wasn't even 5 minutes from what I remember that San Francisco called me back like, look, we want to sign you to a free agent deal. We want you. What's up? Agent called back. He like, look, San Fran called a couple times. They called me like, they want you. Let's do it. Signed with the Niners, man, and that's where the second part of the journey started, man. It was awesome. I never played a down for the Niners in the NFL, you know, all that stuff, but like going to the facilities, man, having a locker in the NFL locker room, and I'm watching cats that I played with, that I seen play and older than me, and I've been following their career, and you know, just the whole everything that came with it to me, man, was a blessing. It was awesome because it's everything I worked for. Like, I enjoyed waking up, getting on the tram, going to walking into a professional facility as a player. Like, I'm one of the players here. Like, you know, all that type of stuff. I remember the older players taking us out one night. So I'm just around, like, you know, like that was my thing. Like, I was an NFL player. Like, I'm a baller. Like, this is what I'm doing. I'm a ball player. I'm an NFL player. I'm with NFL needs. Like, this is what we doing, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, I love the whole process, man. But like I said, I hit rock bottom. I never forget when I got cut from the 49ers my rookie year. Yo, I was devastated. You'd have thought I lost 2 girlfriends and all types of shit. Like, I was like, I ain't want to talk, like, because my world had crashed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have nothing to do. Like, I come home, and you know how our grandma is. She ain't changed. I come in the crib, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm like, she ain't never say shit to me about it. Papa ain't never say nothing to me about it. It was just like, all right, you know, what's next? I graduated from college, and I could care less about that degree. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about ball. I'm supposed to be a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't supposed to be here with y'all, so I'm just sitting there. And, man, for a year, I was lost. And, you know, like, I got back on my feet, and we can talk about that other stuff later, man. But, you know, when I talk to people now, man, it's like, man, explore all your options. Like we talk about diversify and understand, man, that life is bigger than whatever you think it is, or you an athlete. Like, don't let that stuff exploit you, because it's going to come a point in time where you can't do that no more. You're going to have to do something else. And I didn't have that in place. Like, I wasn't prepared for that. And it's tough. It's tough, man. But yeah, go ahead, man.
And that's real, man. I mean, I think, and I like, even like hearing a lot of this now, like this is my first time kind of hearing it and really understanding it just from a perspective of being of a certain age, but also knowing a little bit more like about sports and how certain things work and stuff like that. So it's crazy to hear that part of your journey and hear what you was going through at the time, because you my age now going through that, and I know how I took, shit at 18. I can only imagine how I would take something if I was in that position at this age, just knowing all that I know and having that mentality of like, I'm supposed to be here, like I'm supposed to be doing A, B, and C, like how did this fall through type deal. But so I mean, so you get cut, but you do end up having a career in Canada. So speak to how that got sparked, and then just that experience. Like you still were a professional player. So just speak to your experience there, like how that played a role with your self-esteem and like stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. So after I got released from the Niners, man, I came back home. Like I said, I was down. They called me. So they released me in August. They called me in January that year and was like, we want to re-sign you. They re-signed me again. They sent me to NFL Europe. It's not even an NFL Europe anymore. And I had a rough beginning. I got hurt. I got sent to Alabama for like a month to rehab and got sent over there. Then when I got to Germany, I ain't played the first 2 or 3 games. And I was just like, damn, man, this is like, my luck is just damn. And then they put me in one game, Steve, and I balled. And then put me in another game, and I balled. Then it was like, I remember the coach was like, I don't know what we gotta do, bro, but you can't sit on the bench. Like some shit gotta shake, like literally. And one thing I will say too, back to my beginning of NIU stuff, Steve, I was going so damn hard in practice, fam, when I got there.
Right.
Killing these dudes. Like, and it probably, I'll be the first person to tell you, I probably was a little bit annoying. Like, them dudes probably thought they had it sweet and thought they could coast. And when they coasted, I made their ass look bad because I was going 1,000%.
Right.
And they like that. Like, when I first got me, like, damn, Drew. Like, I'm like, listen, fam. Like, it ain't nothing personal, bro. Y'all on the field. Y'all on the field. Y'all eating. Like, I just got here, fam. I got to get it. So I made my name in those 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks that I wasn't playing. That's where I made my name in practice. And that's when the coaches coming up to me like, man, I don't know what, because, when you get to the pros, you can only have a certain amount of people active. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's a lot of stuff people don't know. It's like you can only have a certain amount of people active, and they carry this many DBs, this many receivers. So it's literally strategic how they stack the roster and make the roster for each team. So unless you a starter and you balling, if you on the bubble, you might play one game. That's why in the NFL, you might see a cat playing one game. He might not play for 2 games because the roster spot. He on the team, but they might be traveling an extra linebacker this week, or they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy than people think. But they was like, we got to get you on the field. I would never forget coach like, man, Drew, we got to get your ass on the field. Like, keep doing that shit. I'm talking about, I'm picking shit in practice. I'm blocking punts and shit in practice. I'm doing all the extra shit, like just like extra. And I made my bones over there, man. And once they gave me that starting spot, once again, I never looked back. I was balling over in Europe. So then when I was balling in Europe, I came back to the Niners, right? So my agent was talking to me. And my agent, matter of fact, was so cool. My agent came over to watch us play when I played in Amsterdam. He came over. So we played. We went out. We had dinner and everything. We talking. And I balled that game when he was in Amsterdam. He like, damn. So when I came back, on my way back, he was like, man, listen. He like, the Niners is looking for you to take that last DB spot, man. Like, they saying, like, they looking for you to fill that DB spot and you can play special teams. Because I was over there returning punts, returning kickoffs, going after shit, running down on kickoff. Like, I was doing just everything I could.
Right.
Because I had that mentality, like, this a job. Like, it ain't sweet.
Right.
So he told me that. I'm geeked. Like, okay. Because I know, like, I still got the games. Like, when next time you in town, I'm going to show you my fit. Like, I'm balling over there, Steve. I got the announcers on TV saying my name, talking about, like, I'm on 10 because I'm like, everything is finally starting to fall back. I'm getting a chance to show what I can do. So I come back, San Francisco telling me that shit. I never forget, I came in the locker room, man, because I had to fly. Crazy thing, I had to fly Frankfurt, Germany. I had to fly all the way back to San Francisco to get an exit physical before they would fly me back to Milwaukee.
Damn.
I flew to San Francisco, went to the facility, walk in the facility. Now, mind you, I was there for like a month and a half the year before that. So it was a plenty of cats that already knew me. They used to call me Lil Champ because they said I looked like Champ Bailey. So they was like, Lil Champ. I remember walking, they like, Lil Champ, nigga, we seen you on TV balling over there. Okay, I'll see you, Lil Champ. So I'm like, man, like, now I'm just starting to have like a dream and fruition and all this shit in my head. Like, man, I can't wait till next year when like I got me a locker, I'm on the team, I'm balling and whatever. And then the first day of camp happened when in San Francisco, when I came back, first day of camp, I broke my foot. And went through a whole bunch of shit with that, man. Long story short, I had to have season-ending surgery. Had that, I sat out another year. So to fast forward, I played a year of arena. Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit to get to the CFL part for you. So the year in between that, when I first left the Niners, I had went up to Canada before that with the BC Lions, and they had my rights. Because what Canada teams do is people that be in the NFL and get drafted or don't get drafted, what the CFL teams will do is claim the rights to players. So it's like, he ain't in the NFL and he want to come to Canada, he got to come to us. So they had my rights. I went up there in BC, and I was not excited about that shit, Steve. I did not want to go. Just being ignorant once again, because you got to think about me. A lot of stuff I did, a lot of decisions I made was just me.
Right.
Like, I didn't have nobody. I didn't have a girl at the time. Like, baby, you can, like, my parents wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, my dad is one of my favorite people ever, but at that time, my dad was still going back over his drug stuff, loved my mom to death with her strong ass. But she was, I don't even know if she was even living in the state at that time, so she was going through her stuff, doing her thing. I didn't have anybody to lean on to even ask their guidance. And I wish I would have went up there with a better attitude, but I went up to Canada, man, and balling. Like, in the camp, I was balling. And they cut me. And I was like, where they do that at? Like, damn. Like, if I wasn't balling, I probably could have took it. But I was balling. I said, all right, whatever. I went back home. I ain't say shit, man. Then that's when I ended up playing arena. Played arena. Did the arena thing. That was fun. Balled out in the arena. So that's why it was kind of weird, because when I got the chance to play, I was balling.
Right.
But it was, man, the politics of sports and pro sports, man, just up and down. And so I balled out. So I never forget, after that season, I was going to continue to play arena football. I'm like, I just try to catch this money in the arena, fuck it. But then I got called by Montreal up in Canada. They wanted me to sign. My agent was like, yeah, they want you to come up here. Woo, woo, woo. I was against that shit again. Like, they did me wrong in BC. I see what it is up there. Yada, yada, yada. But I'm trying to ball. I'm thinking long term. I'm trying to get back to this league somehow.
Right.
To the NFL. You got to play. You got to have film. You got to do this. So, boom, I'm up there. This time when I'm balling, everything started going right for me. And, like, I literally went through the gauntlet, little Steve. Like, we went up there. Man, they must have had like 100 dudes up there trying out for this team.
Damn.
And this was before, like, the actual team came. Like, the veterans and shit.
Right.
We had like a mini combine. Like, I'm running 40s, doing the vertical jump. We doing agility tests. We doing one-on-ones. Man, this was like the NFL combine in Canada damn near. Like, we doing combine shit. Then from the combine, they cut cats. Then if you made it through the combine, we did practices, one-on-ones, all like, I mean, dog, this shit, it was so stressful, Steve, because it's like, they was literally cutting cats every day. And then when you know who the Grim Reaper is, and you call the Grim Reaper the nigga that come around and cut you, like, when you see him coming, your heart start beating, because you like, man, he better not say shit to me. Like, you look at it, he come walking down the hall, you like, man, here he comes. Like, you be on pins and needles, bro. Like, you literally there, and they'll tell you, like, listen, tonight after meetings, like, everybody go to their room, we're gonna have to make some more cuts. So like, so you fuck around in the middle of the night, you hear somebody door. Oh shit. Is somebody gone? And I never forget, somebody knocked on my door, but it was like they cut the dude that was in the room with me. And I'm like, man, I can't do this shit, man. This shit is stressful as hell. Like, these motherfuckers got me messed up, man. So long story short, man, I made it through the gauntlet, man. And I ended up starting my rookie year in Montreal. And that solidified to me that I was a pro, and given the right opportunity, man, I could play pro football. And I feel like that with anybody, though. Given the right opportunity, a lot of cats can play pro. It's cats out here who ain't in the pros who should be in the pros.
Right.
And so, but, like I said, God, was looking out for me. I ain't tripping. I'm blessed, highly favored, whatever, man. I balled out, man. My rookie year, I led the team in picks. I was second on team in tackles. I was rookie of the year on defense. And I was the defensive MVP on my team, and I was the rookie of the year on my team. Shit. And I made the all-star team, all as a rookie. So now I'm back flying high, Steve. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm feeling myself again. My confidence is high, man. The season's over with. I had 3 NFL teams call me for workouts. So when I came back, Montreal was trying to see what they was going to do with my contract because they knew that they had to redo my contract if I was going to play again. So I knew I had that on my side. But I worked out for the Kansas City Chiefs. I worked out for the Minnesota Vikings. And I had a workout schedule with the Jets. But then I don't know if they pulled the plug or something, but I didn't go to that. And did my workout with the Vikings, did my workout with the Chiefs. Nothing happened. So, I told my agent, I said, look, man, I don't ever want to feel like how I felt not playing ball. So whatever they own, that's what I'm on. Like, sign me up. So I signed a 4-year deal, man. And man, life was good, man. And my second year, having a good season, tore my ACL, out for 13 months. And then fought back for that. Got switched to a different team up there, man. Started over, was doing good. Getting my leg back together. I ruptured my pectoral muscle that off-season training. I was out another 5 months. And then I came back and I played a season. I got hurt. I was hurt all the time. It was just a perfect storm, man. But, it's those things that, make me who the man I am today. And I was just like, you think back on it, you always be like, man, if I wouldn't have ever tore my ACL, shit, you might be doing this interview with me being in Canada right now. I might have stayed up there for 10 years, might have got married. I don't know, like, all types of dumb shit. Shit happened for a reason. But it was a ride, man. But it definitely showed me, like, the business side of the game. I definitely valued and understood what it took to get to where I wanted to get to. Hard work, loyalty, just being dedicated, man. Like, I was so stubborn. My 3rd year I was up there after I tore my ACL, Montreal, when I got traded, like, where they let me go, because when I was hurt, they never cleared me for my knee. So they put me on the practice squad for like 10 weeks or some shit. And I was salty because I'm just like, y'all not even giving me a chance to play. But they was winning. Yeah. So as a business side, I understand, like, why it changed up, y'all winning. So I'm like, well, I'm healthy. I can play. I want out. So they let me go. I went, and that's when I went to Edmonton. But one of my best friends, TJ Hill, was in Edmonton. He had been telling me, like, man, you need to come out here with me. So I went out there with him, and life was good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything happened for a reason. But to go back to how I'm wired, Montreal won the championship that year, Lil Cuz. So because I was on the team and the roster for 9 weeks, I was eligible to get a ring. But when they called me to give me my ring, I told them I was keep that shit. That ain't my ring, man. Because
Real,
it was a part of me. You know, they didn't make me feel like, even if I didn't play, they didn't make me feel like part of the team. And I had worked too hard. I wouldn't even be able to show, my son that shit. Like, what's that? Like, I don't know. You want this motherfucker? I don't want it. I didn't work for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, that just, to me, that's how I am. That's how I'm coming. Like, I don't need no favors, no gimmies, no nothing. Give me the opportunity to grind and show you I could do it, and then we go from there. So that's how that happened. So my CFL, like I could go into plenty little stories and details, but I had a roller coaster up in the CFL, man. But it was good, man. It was a good time. It was a time where I got to redeem myself. It was a time where I got to show what I could do. And then one more question before you go. I think you still said you got one more question left still, but to kind of backtrack, the reason why I told you about me going to BC. My second year when I was in Montreal, I was talking to the equipment dude, and me and the equipment dude was cool. And he was like, "Do you know how you ever got on our team?" And I was like, "Nah," you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I don't know. Y'all scouted me. I don't know. It was a player who he gonna be in the Hall. If he ain't in the Hall of Fame there already, he will be. But it's the safety that played in BC. When I tried out that year, Lil Steve, apparently his name is Baron Miles. He'll be in the CFL Hall of Fame. He was an awesome, amazing player. He called the general manager for Montreal and was like, "We just let a dude go, a little young dude go that was balling. Like, he's a good player. Y'all need to get on him." And then that's how they offered me a contract the next year when they called me to come work out.
Shit.
You never know, like I say that to say you never know the impression you leave on people, man, or what people think about you or see in you, or the opportunities you get bestowed upon you just because of the person that you are.
Right. And that's wild, man. I feel like it was everything about your story, like you said, like everything happens for a reason. I feel like you were destined to go through that, like I said, to be who you are. And I'll keep it short. Like, I only got 2 more questions.
Take your time. Like I told you, man, you probably like on a short list of people that if you tell me to do something, I know I got
so you finish your career in Canada. So your playing career, at this point is done, and you end up back in Milwaukee. And I'm thankful for that time because you basically end up being back in Milwaukee consistently. Really, once I got into high school, like middle school, you was still, but by 2010, like you was kind of back in Milwaukee for good, and that's when I started taking training. It's like I'm calling you every day, like, you going to the gym, big cuz, I'm trying to go with you, like all of that. And so I'm thankful for that. But even like I've always looked at you as a mentor, and I've always somebody, like you said, you were always going to teach me things that you wish you were taught, and you was always going, like you always told me, like, no, don't ever think you're not smart, or don't ever not realize how smart you are and how far that can get you. And of course, like, I'm in high school, so I'm like, I'm just trying to hoop. Like, I just want niggas to know I can hoop. You know what I'm saying? But as I got older, I started realizing, like, man, like, and of course, like, because mom's preaching that too. But again, like, it was so different hearing it from you, because it's like, this my big cuz, like, he played football, he played in Canada, so like, that nigga must know something. But like, nah, but you definitely made me always remember, like, I always had some outside of sports, and you always make sure, like, even if this sport shit don't work out, look, because like, you gonna be good. Remember that. Don't put all your energy into sports. But I know you were a mentor for me, and like, you would go on and like you started coaching again, and you also went back to school. So just however much you want to say about it, like, to talk about what coaching has meant for you, how you gotten back into that. I know you coach the 7 on 7 now, but also going back to school and what that meant in terms of also you being in education now, and how that mix of as an athlete, I learned all these things. I came back from coaching, but now I'm also an educator. So kind of what we touched on earlier, but how have all these experience and everything to this point gave you the skills you feel like to be able to impact, these young men that are coming up under you now, and the vision you have for them in terms of what you want them to realize and what you want them to see and want for their future?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Like, when I first came back, like, once again, I was a lost soul, man. Like, I didn't know what to do. I had a little bit of money, and trust me, it was a little bit of money. So I didn't work that first year, really. I was literally just I was kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Kicking it, doing this, doing that, traveling a lot. And I just didn't know what was what. I still thought I could go back and play in Canada. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, man. And one thing Pops did before he left, because before I went to school, my dad, he stayed on my ass about going back to school to get a master's degree. And I just, for like 2 years, like, man, Pops, you tripped. Like, man, I just got back. Like, I'm like, chill. Like, I got an undergrad. Like, why are you forcing me to go back to school? Like, and you know how crazy Pops was. Like, and the older I got, like, me and him had a wonderful relationship. Like I said, he nothing but that was one of the few times where he kind of like imposed his will. Like, nah, I need you to go back to school. So I'm like, damn, like, all right, man, I'm gonna go back to school. So all that stuff happened at one time. Like I was working when I did finally start working because I was like, I can't be no bum, man. I ain't doing it. So I started working. And when I was working, I just didn't love it, man. You know what I'm saying? And then I started thinking like, what's the quickest way to some money? Like I'm talking about some serious money. Like I was working at Cole's corporate office as a security guard, basically. And I'm looking at these executives coming in and doing this and doing that. And I'm like they ain't no smarter than me. Like they ain't know. They're like, why am I over here and they over there? Not disrespect anybody that's a security guard, but I'm like, I'm thinking next level. Like why I'm not a C? Like why I'm not one of these dudes? Why I'm not a VP? Why I don't have an office? Why I don't whatever. So, I started, rubbing elbows with people and talking and I had a couple opportunities, but that corporate stuff, it just wasn't clicking for me. And then I got a call out the blue from a guy that I coached with for 1 year. Great head coach in Wisconsin, Coach Jim Tejan. And he called me out the blue and was like, hey, Randee, like, you want to come coach DBs? And I'm like, yeah, I guess, man. Like, yeah, I ain't doing nothing else for sure. So went back and started coaching. Then when I started coaching, the athletic director at the time was my old math teacher at Nicolay. Now he was the athletic director at Whitefish Bay. This goes back to just basically how we was talking about like relationships you build, the impression you leave on people's, yada, yada, yada. They like, oh, it's a job, basically like a hall monitor job open in the building. Like, if you ain't really working nowhere, like you can work here and you'll be coaching. It's like a one-stop shop. Like you'll be straight. So I said, all right, like I said, I ain't had nothing to lie, whatever. So I started doing that and whatever. And then that's when Pop started. So I started doing that, coaching, and then I started working on my master's. So doing all that stuff. Then boom. Now my son finna be on his way, my first son on his way. So I'm like, okay, all this stuff is happening in one time, man. Like this culminating like thing. And I'm just like, I just keep it moving, man. And I started moving up in the school like really fast, like, gaining respect to the kids and the staff and talking to people. And then like with anything, like a conversation starter, people start finding out that I played in college, was with the Niners, played up in there and did this. Now everybody want to know this and know that. And we moving and grooving and stuff. And then I finished my degree. I'm moving up the charts. And then next thing you know, one day I'm at work and I had got moved to the office. I'm in the office and my old superintendent from Nicolay walks in. And we like, oh, he looking like Randee. I'm like, Mr. Dr. Moser, how you doing? We get to chopping up, whatever. It was real brief, right? Like we chopped it up. He had a meeting. Cool. Man, about 2 weeks later, I get an email from him. Like, yo, we got this thing going on. We want you to be a part of it. Me and Dr. Damon Means want you to be a part of this thing. Rewind that story. Dr. Damon Means is one of my mentors from jump. He was my high school principal at Nicolay, a black. But like I said, now he's Dr. Means. But even rewind that a little bit more, Steve, this is how stuff connect. He knew me since I was 6. He went to Riverside High School, and my dad coached him at Riverside.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He had already knew me. So that's how all those dots connect. So Means like, I got some, I need you on it. And I was basically like on some like how I am with you. I'm like, Means, you call, it's whatever, man. Like, I know you make stuff happen, you know, whatever. So he like, you're going to be my head director for this camp, man. Like, I'm running this camp. This is what it's about. I need you to be the head dude for like the point man. Like, do all the, whatever. Say no more, say less. So I'm doing it. First year was cool. Second year it was cool. Third year, means leave to go to Georgia, he basically threw me the keys to the caddy, like, it's yours now. So that's when I really got off into my AAMI, my African American Male Initiative, man. And I take it so seriously because the connections and the relationships that I build with these kids, man, is priceless. And like I said, it's like when I'm talking to them, like I see you, like I see kids, like I tell kids, like, man, I'm never gonna tell you nothing that I wouldn't tell my son. Now, whether you listen to it or not is one thing, and I could be wrong. But anything I tell you, anything I go out of my way to put in front of you or to guide you somewhere, it's only gonna be positive. And you just be so surprised, Steve, when somebody really get a hold of your message and really hear what you're saying and really take heed to what you're saying. And man, these past 6 years, man, I've been running this camp, man. I've made so many connections. I've built so many relationships. And I'm respected on a different level, man. Like, I'm around superintendents and doctors and all the principals all day. And when I sit at the table with them, I feel like an equal. And the only thing is, I just don't have all that stuff in front of me, man. But it's like, they be like, the stuff you got, I don't care how many degrees you got. They can't do what you do with these kids. And it's like, I do what I do with these kids because I'm passionate about it, man. You know what I'm saying? And what's funny, it sounds like an after school speech, but right now, Steve, like, I will make more money as a 9-to-5 professional than I ever did playing professional ball when it's all said and done. Long story short, like you saying, man, I went from chasing the dream of playing pro football, and don't get me wrong, man, I wish I would have played 10, 12 years in the NFL and made a ton of money. But that wasn't my story. And the story I got now, man, I get a chance to impact kids' lives on a personal level, man. Like, I really see the outcome of some of these kids, man. Like, when I get a kid that inbox me just before I start talking to me, one of my old students from my camp, telling me about his college plans and stuff, and he said something to me. He said, I hope you're not disappointed in me. And I said, nah, man, I'm not here to be disappointed. I'm here to support. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell me what your plan is, then, okay, let's execute it. You got a plan? He told me what his plan was, why he wanted to do this. He told me why he didn't want to do this and do that. And it made sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's what a lot of these people be missing, man, because, just like they say, like a friendly smile, a handshake, man, a head nod, acknowledging somebody. You don't know what that could do for somebody's day. So that's what I'm trying to give off, little cuz, man. I'm just trying to impact kids' lives positively as much as I can, man, because at the end of the day, my career as a mentor will have more impact and be more everything to me than the stuff that I was gaining and chasing for myself personally.
Yeah, man. That's extremely profound, big bro. And I mean, it's crazy because we talk all the time, but like every time we have a conversation, even though it's never the exact same conversation, it's like I always feel like I'm learning something new. And I'm just always happy, like when you able to sit there and say, like, you're doing exactly what I thought you was doing. But me, like when I'm young, like I take that into consideration, but I'm just trying to do like all I know how to do and what I need to do. And I don't really know where that's going all the time. I just know I got to keep doing it. But it always feels good to know, like, whatever I'm doing or whatever I've done up to this point has been on par with either what I wanted or the people that were closest to me and that were investing in me saw. And it just makes me feel good to know like that. It always feels good to know you're on the right track. Okay, so final question. The question I asked everybody who I interviewed. Big bro, Drew, as they call you. It's crazy. We both get called by our last names. That's wild as hell. Anyway, Drew, what makes you qualified, or why are you qualified?
Man, I think I'm qualified, man, because my experiences, man. Like, I'm born by fire. You know what I'm saying? I came up in it through the test of times, man. I'm not one of them dudes who boast and brag about things I've done, seen, had, been a part of, experienced. But I take pride in knowing that I'm not no average dude. I've seen a lot. I do a lot. I got aspirations of doing a lot, and I can stay focused and keep a clear mind while I'm doing it, man. I've been through a lot, but I always seem to keep a smile on my face. I put my family first, and I'm never gonna get outworked. I'm a grind, man. I'm a grind, and I'm gonna get it done. It may take a year, it may take a day, but I'm a grind. So what makes me qualified is just being, born by fire, man. I've been through it, and I ain't scared to run back into it if I have to.
Oh, that's real and that's love, man. Man, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I know you're gonna say you guys do it for me, but man, this is ever since I started qualified, I knew like whenever I really get the blueprint down pack, whenever I really know like how it's gonna be set up, I gotta interview you. I gotta talk to you. It's too much wisdom. It's too much of a special journey to not get that insight and be able to share it, with other people as well, man. So again, thank you so much for doing this and for the conference and everything, big bro.
So like I said, man, we ain't got to get all mushy and lovey-dovey, but you already know, man, whatever you need, cuz call me, let me know. Like, this is your avenue, man. This is your lane. I wasn't calling you Stephen A for nothing back in the day, man. This is your lane. Like, it fits you well, cuz, and I'm super proud of you. I'm just so proud of the young man you've become, the things you're doing. I can only imagine what you're gonna do. I think I'm swaggy. I don't know if I'm brave enough to be pulling the swag you be pulling off sometimes, but I just love your creativity, your confidence, and I'm just expecting big things, little cuz. So man, keep it up. Like I said, you already know the number. Call me for anything, and it was my pleasure, man. I'll holler at you, bro.
Of course, holla at you because.
All right, love, baby.
All right, love, peace.
Peace.